Hello, hello, hello. Self Expressive. Hello, Matt. Hello, Michael. Hello, Sibo. Hello, Jeremy Snow. Hello, C for Crypto. What's up, Russ Brown Music? Hello, Tariq. Sure, we can do some ZRX later. Hello, Oscar. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. What's up, Dragon? What's up, Franco? Crystal Squatch. Hello, hello. Hola, ¿cómo está? For fun, yo, yo. Hey, Richard. Across the pond. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for joining me. This is your old friend, BigChonis. Remember, you guys can follow me on Twitter. I am at BigChonis. These are all my best ideas. I take technical analysis very seriously. I am a crypto trader. I am a mentor. I'm a chart psychologist, investor, photographer, chef. Please do your own research. Guys, I've been extremely busy over the past week working on some really just incredible projects that I'm very excited about, and some things that I'm definitely wanting to share with you guys. First off, I want to talk briefly about my joining of a tremendous group of traders on the Until 1 Mil Discord trading room. I'm there with Until 1 Mil. I'm there with Chart Vampire. KK is also there doing just tremendous TA and putting up scalping ideas and doing everything from BitMEX, margin trading, leverage trading, all sorts of crypto. Just a great community of people, lots of good information, lots of great content. You guys can find this information on until1mil.com packages, lots of different packages to choose from. If you're not sure, if you just want to kind of try it out, have a sense of what the community is like, you can definitely start on these the bear package or the bull package. And if you're ready to really rock and roll, you can definitely head right to the Chonis package. And what this gets you, what this includes, is total access on the Chonis package to my private VIP trading room, where I post all my best ideas, all my best charts. We do scalping ideas, we do long trades, short trades. I take requests all day long. Any requests of any coins you'd like me to chart, if you're in the chat room, just ask and I'll get all those up there for you. Lots of great resources to take with as well. I'm also hoping to have up in the next week or so my 24/7 365 live basically Bitcoin TV channel, which will have great setups and indicators on it. And all you have to do is just tune in and see where the price of Bitcoin is and how it's relating to where I have my zones of support and resistance. Just a great quick way to give a good sense of what's happening in Bitcoin. If it's an area to take profit, we're heading into strong resistance, or if it's an area of historic support where you wanted to scoop up some and do some sort of a long trade. So all great information there. If you guys have any questions about this, please feel free to either DM me on Twitter, or you can email me at bigchonis@gmail.com. I also have had tremendous success and quite a lot of people very interested in signing up for my mentoring program. I have lots of new students that I've been able to meet, engage with, learn about their experiences in crypto, their history, and really help them out, and kind of set them on a better track for trading, for investing, and for having just a better understanding of what to expect in this crypto market right now. I'm currently booked up basically through the month of August because the response has been very big. But because of my new responsibilities with the Discord group and just how much time my mentoring has been taking up, I do there's the good news. I do plan to offer it again in September, and I actually do plan to keep the pricing the same. However, I'm going to tweak a couple things, mostly having to do with the time, but I'll work on some of that information and get that up to you soon. And if you guys have any interest in becoming one of my students, please feel free to DM me on Twitter or email me bigchonis@gmail.com as well. Okay, now that we got all the house cleaning out of the way, I want to talk to you about Bitcoin. All right, so it's been a couple days since we've talked on my channel. You guys have hopefully seen me talking with Vamp on his channel. We do a nightly show, just great information, great TV. He's such a beast in terms of scalping, and he knows what he's talking about. I've learned a lot from him. He's really enhanced my game and my trading prowess, and I definitely look forward to putting out a lot more content with Vamp in the coming days and weeks and months ahead. So let's kind of talk about where we've been, where we are, and kind of where we could be going here. So we're going to start with the 50,000 foot view. I want to go to our weekly chart. And remember, we have 2 days left in our weekly chart, today and tomorrow. Now, after our previous really nasty back-to-back red candle weeks there, what do we have going here? So we were very hopeful that we would kind of get some sort of a really nice bottom hammer here of our weekly candle here. Yesterday, when we hit about 66.5, we were getting up here. It was a nice green hammer with a nice long lower wick, a good hammer body, and we're looking pretty good heading into the weekend. Fortunately, now we're looking and we're kind of teetering in this very tight doji, almost spinning top candle here. Remember, we still have time left. This has not closed, but we want this to look a little better because I don't want it to close red. And I surely don't want it to kind of come down here in the body, because what that actually does is it makes our upper wick a lot longer and actually makes us much more of a bearish candle than we would like to see. Remember, after 2 weeks of really nasty Bitcoin volume, we're basically trying to find some sort of reversal. Now, this entire time we've been holding roughly this 6K area, give or take a few hundred. And I want to kind of go over a couple charts here to kind of show us why we're holding in this area, and then potentially what happens if we are unable to hold. So the first thing I want to do is our little parallel chart here. Now, the reason I bring this up, and a lot of this kind of has to do with where I feel, let me see where I was here. Something like, it was this one here, right? Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. So what I feel like is happening here and what I feel like we might be heading into. So I've been watching, and again here I'm in log scale. Now we clearly see this line, and this line. Basically our upper resistance line has been pretty strong, and pretty is relative, but very strong, holding down our price every time we actually try and break through it here. So we're just getting rejected there, we're just getting rejected here, and then once again for the third time in a row we're just getting rejected here. So we're all very comfortable saying this is our major rejection line. Now you see we're not kind of following in this parallel line here. We're actually doing something. Actually, I want to get this more like that. There we go. So we're doing something like this, falling, basically descending wedge here, if you will. I want to get this just a little bit like that, and this right here. Okay, so we have two things here. We have our wedge support here, and this was actually our resistance area back here until we were able to break bullish. Our really nasty February wick is what's concerning me, and I'll get back to that in just a moment. So what we're looking at here is we're finding support here, we're finding support here. It is logical to assume that if we do break bearish from holding support on our middle channel line, which for these 2 weeks here has held support, at least the candle above, we could be touching somewhere right around $5,000. Now that would correspond to holding this vector of support here and here and here. The reason I wanted to draw our parallel has to do with our wick here, because what we see is that when we break really bearish and when we have an area where we're basically oversold, two things can happen. We have the blood in the streets, we have the cascading waterfall of death where there's a huge sell-off here. But that also can induce a very nice V bottom turnaround, which is what we had here. So the reason I'm bringing this up is I kind of have two bearish cases here, and I'll do the bearish cases first, and we'll definitely talk about the bullish case scenario. So bearish case one is a break of where we've been currently hovering, roughly around $5,700 minimum to about 6K, a failure to hold our middle channel support line, which is acted as resistance here, support, resistance, broke bullish, had our back test, which I love to see. Our first touch, hold, break bearish. Now it's resistance until we're able to find it as support here. So this middle line has been touched several times and acted as support and resistance. So I'm pretty comfortable with calling this as a major line to either hold and find support on, or if we break it, we know what happens. We break lower until we come back and try and back test it here. So our first back test alone is at 5K. Maybe we could find some sort of a little bounce, talking something like this. Oops. Then we kind of bounce up, potentially get rejected again on our middle channel support, and then we could go lower because this line here has been great support. But if we break it, I'm almost afraid that it could be strong resistance. The reason I have my parallel low here is kind of, this is where my area of oh crap kind of is. And the reason I mean that is because, send it back, is because a failure to hold this lower descending wedge support would definitely put, I feel, our lower parallel channel support somewhere in play. Now, I have no idea as to the timing of this. The timing of this can be very subjective. A lot of this has to do with news-driven events, maybe an ETF event, maybe some FUD, negative or positive. You could get a situation where an exchange gets hacked, gets Ponzi scheme, all sorts of stuff that can create some sort of a selling. So this is our best case hold for a nice bounce area of around 5K to 4,700 as low. But remember, a couple things happen here. If we do bounce that low or drop that low, you have to see how we get there. A quicker decline would instigate a better bounce, something like our V bottom here. A more of a bleed out would be a much slower rise to find some sort of a support there. So there's kind of my bearish scenario. Now, obviously, my bullish scenario is basically just another retest of our upper resistance line. Now, that basically means that we could definitely drop a couple $100 more, but as long as we're able to hold 6K and more importantly, hold our channel support in our middle here, another hump, another attempt to get back up here could be in the cards. But you see, every time we do that and set a nice bullish run, we have to go really bearish first. The question is, have we reset all the way? And if we do actually get back and touch 6K, how strong is the market going to be in terms of conviction, in terms of wanting to add some longs there? Because how many times can you break 6K before it breaks? So let's start with some indicators here to see what kind of we're looking at. Remember, guys, we're on the weekly chart. I like to start at a very high time frame first and kind of come in. Okay, so we're breaking bearish on our stochastics here. Now remember, the last time we broke bearish in our stochastics here, we set in a really nasty end of May and a really nasty June until we were actually able to start some sort of a turnaround, have a really nice bullish push in July. Now this is starting to get rather bearish here. Remember, our blue line will be our leading indicator that always moves a little bit faster, and our red line is our trailing indicator here. So this most recent move was very quick. That's why we have our blue line that fell very fast here, and we're pretty separated here. I would expect our red line to slowly begin to catch up a little bit. That's why I would expect a little bit of stability in this area here, but we'll see how long that can take. Looking here at our RSI, now a couple things I want to talk about here are really beautiful bullish moves here of 2017 was all based on an RSI, okay, that on the weekly was above 50. And I always talk about how important it is to hold 50 on really every RSI time frame, but the higher the better. So here's our 50 line, and you see once we were able to get above it here, we were really able to ride all this bullishness for the rest of 16 and into 17 there. That's great. But to get that, we had to go through this crap down here. And the reason I bring this up is because you see how low our RSI on our weekly chart can really get. Now look at how low we got here. 28. Now, what was the price action in January of 15? And we basically see here that was our first nut low of our 2014 parabolic move correction. And then you see we were mired in this very long area here. There we go. Oh, actually, log showed it a little better. So we actually here put in a second tap of our lower price here, but our RSI was showing bullish divergence there as a higher RSI put in there. And so even though we touched that low area again of our price of Bitcoin right here, our RSI was higher. And then once we were able to get back over 50, we were there and able to hold that. So once we broke 50, okay, after our parabolic move and our unwinding we've had all of 2018, we've been trying to get back up here, here, and here. And every once in a while, we are able to get back up on a nice bullish push. But every time we do that, we're getting weaker and we're getting weaker here. So I do not like that our weekly RSI is once again under 50. We do see we are finding some support above 40, which is good, and we're kind of range bound here. I'm just going to pull this a little higher here because we get as high as around 52, right? And then we get as low as around 42. So we're range bound in this area here, and this is something that we're going to see continue, because if we can't get above here, we're just going to keep testing this area several more times, and then once it breaks, it's going to be resistance. Now you see how important this area of support was back here. We initially held it, we broke very bearish from it, we came back up and kind of got a little above it, but basically area of resistance, area of resistance, area of resistance, until it was able to break bullish, back test, and hold. We're so in the early stages of what we have here. It's very possible that this area kind of corresponds with this area here, and we've yet to kind of break bearish. You know what our supports are, around 30. You see how much lower we could go on our weekly time frame here. I want to briefly touch about our MACD. Now remember, this is our parabolic move. You see how high we can get. We really wanted this to cross bullish, which has been in our blue line crossing up and into our red line there, but we were unable to. So we're still bearish here, and that's no good. Okay, this kind of ricocheted bearishly like a hockey puck over the boards, and it's still in a bearish scenario here, and we're also in the negative territory here. So there's nothing in our MACD except our bearish histograms are getting a little bit less and a little bit less, but still have nothing broken positive. And we definitely, for any kind of a bullish momentum, we really got to get this above our zero line here. Lastly, I'll bring up our histogram. Now we were so hopeful to get into our green on our weekly chart here, which we had been in our nice parabolic run, but this week we've actually started another red histogram bar here on the down, which kind of means this potentially is not over yet. Let's go into a closer time frame like our daily. I see something kind of different here. So we see our histogram. Remember, this is where we want to be. We want nice green peaks. We don't want these red valleys, red troughs, red abysses. This one's pretty decently sized here and still is trying to come back up ever so slowly, but it's taking its time. I'd rather see something like this, but we seem to be doing something like this potentially here. And that's important to keep an eye on, because until that changes, we're not getting out of this bearish sense here. Now we have yet to cross bullish on our MACD daily. We had a bear cross here. We are back into our negative area here again. Don't like to see that, but we are range bound here, so our pricing is affecting our MACD, keeping it in this tight area here as well. Looking here at our RSI, remember we were able to hold 30. This actually did barely touch 30 here. That was encouraging, because we do like to see support in these areas when they're tested, but we also see what happens when we can break. We actually can go down and create some sort of a nice V-bottom bounce there. Once again, we were able to find support and shoot up. I want to be over 50, right? We weren't over it on our weekly, and now we're definitely not over it on our daily. And actually, we found resistance here. Now, why do we find resistance at 44? Because we can see here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, that actually has acted as major resistance. So if you were watching the RSI and you saw it come back to this area here, and these are actually some of the things we talk about in the Discord chat room, this is an area here not too long, but to take profits in your long and potentially open up a short position, because we knew that this area on our daily RSI was going to be rejected and resistance initially when first touched. Sure enough, that's exactly what's happening here. So Have some coffee here. So we are range bound, right, very tight in this area here. Let's go to our daily and let's talk about some of our candles here. So yesterday's candle was a very nice green candle, okay? A very nice green candle. And then today's candle, we're giving all that back. Now, right now, we have a couple things here. We do not currently have a bearish engulfing, but we're pretty close. I would see this as a dark cloud cover candle. I'd actually rather it be a little bit higher, but it's okay. So this is a bearish dark cloud cover candle, and we've seen this several times where we have right here. We have a beautiful green candle, and then the next day we give a lot of that back and then some. Now, this pullback was pretty vicious back in April, but it didn't mean the move was completely over. We were able to hold, rally a little bit after some false moves, and actually put in a higher low that topped us out over here. And then we actually had a bearish engulfing in the next daily candle there. So even though this is really nasty and bad right now, it doesn't mean that this bullish uptrend, slight as it is, can't continue. It definitely does seem like it's kind of been stalled out and put on the back burner for just a moment. So keep an eye on that. We do see our stochastic is moving ever so high. Remember how pancaked, how flat we were down here? Okay, really bad. But now we're slowly moving higher. It's kind of weak though. Like I just don't like this. I like to see more kind of this kind of is like your strength meter, and it has a lot to do with how it corresponds with the RSI. This move here, it doesn't feel, how do I say this? I don't feel like the strength that this is showing is actually really good strength in the market. We've seen other pumps that move this a lot quicker, a lot faster, with a lot more conviction. I don't like this here, and I don't like the fact that we're at a higher point in our stochastics with a lower price of Bitcoin than we were down here when we were actually at $3,600. Sorry, at 66.50. So I'm seeing a little bit of bearish divergence here on our stochastics, even though it's moving higher, but slightly beginning to kind of cross over there. We'll see if that can play out. Let's look to the 4 hour and get a sense of what we have here. Now, I talked about more coffee. Thank you. I talked about this last night on the show I did with Vamp about how many days on the 4 hour chart we like to stay up in this area here on our stochastic. I brought up this area here back in July, where from July 13th to roughly the 18th, roughly 5 days, we can actually be up in this zone here on the 4 hour chart. We have history of that. We didn't last that long up here. And I noted last night that we're putting in these lower highs when we actually do have a nice little bullish pop. So we are coming back here. We are resetting. I would like this to reset all the way to 0. That would allow it for more of a nice bigger move bounce. But I'm going to see how low we can go here, because this reset, I want to look at two things. Are we going to put in a higher low, which would be encouraging, right? If we can actually put something like that in and hold support in this area, putting in a low from here, higher low, and higher low, that would be encouraging. That would basically show we're not bearishly resetting as far when we do have these pullbacks. But we're going to see how this plays out. This is the 4 hour chart. We are only halfway through this 4 hour candle, so we're going to see if we can find support if we come down here and if that price area is reached. And I'll bring up our MACD. Now, I noted that the first time in August we were actually above our 0 line on our MACD for both indicators. This was very encouraging to me. However, we've just crossed bearish here on our MACD indicator. So that's okay. We can do that and potentially kind of wrap around and loop over once again, something like that, and continue our little nice bullish momentum here. The problem is that if this follows through, we could basically bring both of our indicators back to our 0 line here. We also have put in another negative histogram here as well. Remember, our MACD is a trailing indicator, so a lot of these moves here are after the fact, but from a broader stance, it definitely gives you more of a sense of kind of where we are in the price action and where we could be going. Now you see our 4 hour, we've broken our support of our channel here. We got a couple decent wicks here holding up. Remember, when we do break a support line, I do like to see some sort of a back test. Okay, I wouldn't be completely surprised if we are able to hold somewhat in this area and maybe try and come back and retest this area as resistance. I'm not saying it's going to go straight up, but I would like to see that, to see a test here and to see how strong our resistance area here actually might be. All right, let's do a little pause here. I'm going to hop in the chat room here and see what's going on. Say hello, some people. Hey, Indria. Hey, Matt. What's up, John? Malik, Crypto Squatch, Wen Moon, sir. I love that. Richard Jones. Hello, hello, Juan. Mehmet. Hey, Carl. What up, buddy? S. Swartz, 88. Bud Thompson. Top Web. L. Super Extroverte. Hosgit, Shin, and hey, Jonathan, what's going on, my friend? So, lots of cool people in the chat room, 139 watching. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. Make sure you give me a thumbs up here. We're not done yet, all right? We're not done, only about halfway through our show. But if you're liking this stuff, please give me a thumbs up on this feed down the bottom there. I much appreciate it. Okay, so we talked about a lot of indicators there. Let's bring up some more. So I'm going to go back to our daily. I'm going to hide all of our stuff here. I'm going to go back to linear, and let's look at our TD sequential. See what kind of counts we're looking at right here. All right, so it's our daily. We're on a red 5 still. Remember, the way you count TD is by counting 4 candles back. So it's not the previous candle. This is a green 5 because not this. This is a red 4. It's because we are higher than 1, 2, 3, 4. We're actually higher than this candle here, which means this is a green 5. We're about halfway through. Now, Vamp likes to say that around the 6th candle is when actually you see kind of that turnaround if we're not going to complete a full 9 cycle. Remember, we did complete a full 9 and actually a perfected 9 on the down here, which does trend say that a reversal can be in progress. And normally we have somewhat of a 1 to 3 candle kind of fart around where the market determines which way it wants to go. This was definitely longer. 1, 2, 3. It was our 4th candle that put in our first green one with a red one, then a green one, and now we're basically holding this pattern ever so slightly. So that's encouraging. Let's look at lower time frames. Our 12-hour on a green 7. Remember, even though we're lower than our 6 here, we always count 1, 2, 3, 4 candles back, and because we are currently higher than the close of the 4 candles back, which was our 3 candle, that's what makes us still a green 7, even though we've actually lost some ground here. So let's see if this can close out a green 9, which would be interesting because that would basically set some sort of a completion and potentially a 1 to 3 candle fart around correction before we either can go in up direction or we kind of come down. Our support is showing at 6,000 is a must, and our major resistance here is around 75. No, 72.83, I'd say, this red line here showing our TD resistance area here. Let's go to our 6-hour. And we only got to about green 7 here before we started another red sequence, 1 and 2, so not much to glean from that. You know, a lot of the sideways price action, it's going to be very tough to use the TD in this context for anything. And lastly, let's go to the 4-hour here, and once again, yet just a red 2, and we're not able to complete a full cycle there as well. So something to keep an eye on there. Not really much showing us on the TDs right now, so let's get rid of that. Now let's see here. Let's bring up our cloud, little Ichimoku action, right? Okay, so cool. So our 4-hour here, interesting. Look at that. Our 4-hour cloud is showing rejection, rejection, rejection. We were actually able to close in it, which was great, but we were not able to hold. And our next candle and the next 4 candles actually are showing major resistance here. This cloud entry is clear resistance, right? So we can keep pounding at this at 65, but if we get over here, then we're getting 64 and then next to 63. So this is clearly acting as very strong resistance. If we can break bullish and get back into it and hold as support, then we could start talking about hitting price targets at our upper cloud area here, and that could totally put potentially a 7K in order, but we have a long way to go for that. Let's go to a higher time frame, our 6 hour, and see we're just not really that close to our cloud. This was our bearish Kumo cross here. Our twist, I should say. Once again, bearish Kumo twist. So a lot of our price action has turned a lot of our cloud action bearish. So our daily here, now you see this is a great example here where we were able to get rejected, finally break bullish in, and the cloud held us support here. Now this was our target. We wanted to test 8,700, maybe 8,800. This was our bull target. Now we failed to achieve it. We also failed to hold in our cloud, acting as support here, now acting as resistance. Another bullish test, you can see, right, does still put 7,800 maybe to 7,100 back in play. It is possible, but if we stay bearish like this will basically follow down and putting lower areas of resistance. So our cloud is showing us it was once support and now it is resistance. So that's still very bearish there. Let's bring up our Bollinger Bands. My favorite of all the indicators is my Bollinger Bands. I'll do this. Okay. So, daily chart here. Now, we're still pretty wide here. I don't like how wide we are here. This is a lot closer. This is a lot closer. We are still very wide here, which tells me we still have more time for this to tighten up. And a lot of that has to do with basically more sideways price action here. We have our support has held, our middle class, our middle Bollinger resistance is at 67.76 and falling. I would expect this to test, and I also would expect it to act as major resistance. A bear break, we see what could hold us up, which is our lower Bollinger Bands. Stefan, my cloud settings are a little different than the defaults. They are 20, 60, 120, and 30. I've adjusted those to account for a 24/7 crypto market and kind of lean to a little bit more of a conservative leaning there on my indicators there. Again, I like to use my cloud for more of a broader understanding. I really don't trade based on it, but it gives me a sense of where good support and resistance lines are. Getting back here to our Bollingers, so I see where this is our resistance. Remember, it's falling, so right now we're at 67.68, but tomorrow we could be at 67.28, and continuing to go down there. This is our daily here, so let's go to our weekly. And what do we see here? Well, we see our resistance on our middle BB is still pretty high at 7,500. We've yet to test our lower BB as support, and look where it is, $5,200, $5,300 there. Now, if the price were to fall down here, our lower BB would probably also fall down as well. And if it was quicker, our upper BB would actually rise because our Bollingers also factor in volatility and volume in a certain amount of time frame. Let's go to a different time frame. Let's go to a 12-hour. Interesting. So look at this. Our 12-hour shows us a few things. One is we're getting tighter here. Okay, see how wide we were on our Bollingers previously? Getting a lot tighter here. We're also finding strong resistance on our upper BB lines here, right? We are finding support, which is good, on our middle Bollinger Band support. This was our first test. Remember when we tested first, we always like to see it hold. So that's promising. However, if this candle breaks, I would not be surprised if we put our lower BB once again in test. You see where it is right now, around $6,000. So let's look at our 6-hour. And sure enough, our middle BB acted as support. Okay, we wicked down there. This was like actually a little buying opportunity, but we're just hanging on there. And this is our newest candle, our newest 6-hour. And here we are once again flirting with our middle BB line, and we know what a bear break, we know where that could take us. Again, another example of why 6K could be our next test level again if we get back down here corresponding with here. I'll do one more on the 4-hour. and getting tighter here. I mentioned this in the Vamp show last night. We're getting tighter in our 4-hour BBs. We see an example here, and especially here. When we get really tight, that is a signal here as well for a larger move in the price action, a more volatile move in the price action. We're getting a little tighter. We're not there yet, but this is saying a couple more candles from now, maybe tomorrow, if this gets even tighter, it could usher in a much larger move in the price action. Something to keep an eye on there. Okay. So that's a lot of Bitcoin there. I hope you guys learned something and got something out of that. I'm going to do a very quick rundown in some of the alts that are having some action. Oh, you know what? Before I get into that, I want to bring up one more indicator. Very simple here. I'm just going to bring up 3 of my favorite EMAs. R12, R26, and our EMA 55. Now, first question. What's the difference between the MA and the EMA? And the biggest difference is the EMA tends to react quicker to movements in the price action. And I like using it in conjunction with my higher time frame MAs, but I like using it because in crypto, especially in low time frames, I think the EMAs react quicker and give you more of an accurate sense of price action, especially if they do a bull cross or a bear cross. And what we're seeing here on our daily chart here, let's map out a few areas here. So I want to mention this area here, which was our bearish cross here, where all of our lower term EMAs, our 26 and our 12, crossed down and into our higher time frame EMA, our EMA 55. And that kind of brought in this bearishness here. Now we went down, we spread out, and now we're just trying to stabilize. So our first area of resistance, our 12, was rejected, broke bullish, yay, and we're unable to hold it. So that stinks. If we were actually to hold above our 12, I'd be getting to put our 26 and our 55 in as our next areas to test. But because we're under our 12 now, we just got to start with that one first and go higher. Let's go to other time frames and see what our EMAs are telling us. Okay, same deal over here. Bear cross, bearishness in the price. We're slowly trying to get some stability here. Once again, we broke over our 12 here, right, which was resistance. Now support. We touched our 26 several times. Resistance, support, fake out, resistance. And we didn't even come close to our 55 here. So we're still dancing with these EMAs. And we really wanted to hold this one and this one. The fact that we were not able to hold our 12 on our 12 hour, or 12 on our 12, is not good. And I would want this to come up and close above this. That would be a first kind of bullish sign here that I would be more helpful about keeping this a little bit higher. Let's go to our 6 hour. And okay, so cool. So this is an example. We had a little bit of a bull cross here where our 12 broke up and into our 26. And actually right here gave us a little more oomph into this green candle here. Now we have not crossed bearish yet, but we are very close. That's why this candle is very important. We can make this a green candle and push higher. It will prevent these from crossing. If we do cross bearish here, I would not like that, because this was a good accomplishment here. And the reason for that is on our 6 hour, since July, when our EMAs cross bearish here, they have been bearishly repelled ever since. So this is our first time in August on our 6 hour that our EMA 12 and 26 have crossed bullish. Let's not lose that. Let's not throw that away like we're almost doing here, but not yet. So far, this is still bullish until proven otherwise. Last one here, go to our 4 hour. And so this was encouraging when we were finding support on the 4 hour on all 3 of our EMAs. And now we're finding resistance on all 3 of them again. So that kind of stinks. And what I do not want to see is something like this, which is kind of that spreading out, we had seen here. It's very encouraging to get these tighter. They can act as support. Because we broke bearish on all three, they're now going to act as resistance once again. And I'll just pull up an hourly here just to get super close, see what's going on here. Here was our bull cross. We've held, we've held. Yeah, see, this is what's bad here. So now we got a bear cross, and bear cross. We haven't bear crossed here our 26 yet into our 55. But if that does, that will add additional bearishness into what we have going on here. So we're starting to bear cross on lower time frames of our EMAs. We haven't yet on our higher time frames, like our 4-hour. Actually, we have right here. See, we came so close to doing a nice bull cross here, but that failed out. So we're still bullish in some areas here, but we're slowly starting to see some cracks and see some failures here. And if this continues, then we're going to see some more bear crosses here. So I don't want to see that. So we're in a very precarious area right here. If we keep breaking bearish and close these candles, this will be some bear crosses showing, and potentially we're kind of close the weekly into some bearish tendencies there. All right, I'm going to hide these. I'm going to bring up our VPVR and let's talk a little bit about August and where our money flow has been in August. Now, we've been ranged pretty tightly in this area here. That's why you see a lot of our money is in this area, okay? So we have support here because there's a lot of money in this area. A break of 6,200 begins to put a lot of that in doubt. This is such a strong area here because of how long we've been tagged right around the $62 to $6,300 area here. Now, what's important is we want to hold this area because that's where a lot of our money is. If we break bullish, we actually see we have these gaps here around 67 to 68, which tells me if we can get to around 68, there's a good chance we can pop a couple $100 more and get it back to 70, 71, corresponding with this area of resistance. We zoom out a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And once again, to go a little closer here, we see, that's good. We see that very strong area here of money flow, and then it gets a lot weaker up to here until you get kind of around $6,300, $6,400, which is our next area of major area of money flow at the time. So it's kind of an open window here, more or less, that if we are able to break bullish at some time, a break of 68 could bring in $7,200, $7,100 rather quickly. But we're going to keep an eye on that as well because we're not even close to being there yet. Whew, all right, that was good. What was this one here? Oh, yeah, this bad Larry here. So this is kind of a cool indicator, right? We see what bullish looks like. We see what bearish looks like here. So we're trying to even this out. This was our bearish twist here. We have short bearish twists, so we have some areas here which shows even if we twist bearish, we can get out of it rather quick. This is kind of a big one here. This cascading, it kind of reminded me of something like this price action here, where we had a couple nice bullish moves, broke bearish, crawling back up, and then a failure. So this kind of is reminding me of this, and that's a little scary. So what this means is that we kind of do this top off, and then we just break really bearish once this area is rejected. So we'll see how close this represents this area here. We still have some time to go on this though, so we'll give it we'll give a kind of a back burner wait and see there. All right, so that's a lot of Bitcoin there, 44 minutes. All right, so let's do about 15 minutes here of some alts. I'm going to start with the Coinbase alts, okay, and we'll go from there. Okay, so let's go alphabetically here. We'll do ADA, we'll do the USD pairing. Is that all I have up here? Okay, so all right, so listen guys, ADA, this was our Coinbase pump. We were able to go from 11 cents, 19 cents, almost 100% move there. Okay, great move there. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people started loading after a 73% gain there from our bottom there. Okay, and that's just, it's not what you want to buy into. You don't want to buy into this. This is where a lot of people took a lot of profits from this move here, especially in a quick short amount of time, and we gave all that up. There's nothing there's nothing bullish about this, and a lot of it has to do with right now where we wanted to hold, what was it, about 12 cents or so, right, which had been support here, 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 and here, and we failed to hold that, which means you're putting in lower highs and lower lows. So even though we had a nice day yesterday, nice little bullish momentum here, we have given a decent amount of that back. There's not much bullish here. 1, 2, 3. Now let's do kind of a, let's play what if. Okay, so 1, 2, yeah, 3, 4, right? We're putting in a fiver there. Now 3 was really long here, so let's, what would be a 5 extension based on how long 3 was? And I'd want 5 to be shorter than 3, and that could put us bearishly into this area here. Yeah, ADA somewhere around 3 cents to 5 cents. That is my bearish call out there of what could be playing out here if we break 8.5 cents, which was our previous low there. Quick check of the BTC pairing. And yeah, same deal. We're not seeing any bullish divergence yet. And historically speaking, this is our zone that it looks like we could be setting up to go back into. So I'm not very bullish on ADA. A lot of that Coinbase pump was given up, and it seems to be playing out like that as well. Quick look on BAT, BTC, same deal. Gave a lot of that up. Now, the pattern... Oh, I'm on Bittrex, that's why. Okay, the pattern does suggest, and this is what we were hoping for. We were hoping for this to hold, right? But we broke it. We broke bearish from it there. And we didn't even come back to back test it. Now we still might be crawling up here and back test. But now I see this green line that was major support. We broke it. And now unfortunately it's going to be major resistance. So we don't like that. Let's go to ETC. So Ethereum Classic, all right, new kid at the table, buy it to Coinbase, all right. This was the news, buy the rumor, sell the news. The news here was it was now actively traded on Coinbase, and then now we found here, and we found support here. So this green line here is our new support line, also corresponding with the 786 retrace. So we were looking for a support line here, and something actually we were talking about in the Discord room, that we're looking for a decent bounce here because of the 786 fib level from the entire retrace here. But on these bounces in this market, you're going to take profit when you're in profit. Kind of what's going on here. A lot of that profit's been taking, still holding in this area. I'd be very wary of a second test here of this area. I would like to try and get back and retest our resistance line here. Bullishly talking could put us maybe back to $16, maybe, but not seeing it. So let's go to our BTC pairing and see what we see. Now remember this triangle here I've had up for months that we were watching support, resistance, our bull break, our back test, our failure to hold, support, our nasty bear break, came back up, and now we're just bouncing around here right at our apex, getting tighter and tighter, and we're once again back into our triangle, one that we've broken bullish and bearish from several times. Again here, I'm not seeing a lot of bullish divergence here. We gave a lot of this back, and the volatility is pretty nasty. Now Coinbase, this is important. Coinbase definitely has a lot of influence on what's going to go on with ETC. It's their newest coin. They don't want it to collapse, so they're going to help this guy out here. So this coin has money flow behind it, and it's definitely in play, but be wary of any bullish moves as they're being sold off into. Take a look here at Litecoin. So we had a really nice move from our 49 to $62. Gorgeous, right? Now, where do we find support so far? So initially right here, right? 236, broke that, blew right through the 328. We've actually yet to hit our 5.5 or our 618 here. So even though we're finding a little bit of support here, getting back to this very treacherous zone here, but we could bounce as long as we hold a good fib, 55, 54, maybe 52, but I don't know. I'd be kind of sketchy on that. And basically what we would like to see is some sort of a bounce, because then we can basically begin to set up some sort of a wave 3 there. Now let's say we bounce down here, here, or even here, we could start to set our bull targets. But I don't think we're done with this correction here. But if we can definitely put in a higher low consistently, that would definitely be promising and encouraging. Let's take, oh, and I'll do the BTC pairing as well, because again, just lots of bearishness here. We were unable to hold the 0.1 ratio to Bitcoin. Now we're at 0.008. Okay, now we do see this is an area of historic support here and here, and we see what our overall support can be down to 0.005, which could be where we could be heading through. So still nothing bullish about Litecoin in relation to Bitcoin. Look at Lumen here. So this is our BTC pairing. Oh, look at this. This was an old pitchfork I did. Interesting. And we're finding support here in this channel, pitchfork. Basically, our middle channel pitchfork is still holding support. And this line is actually holding resistance here. Looking at our XLM BTC pairing. Interesting. So we did break bullish from our triangle here. Gave a lot of that back. Let's see if we can do a retrace here. So this was that. This was our swing high. And I'd be looking for, yeah, maybe 21, maybe 20 cents. Is it really 20 cents? Wow. I don't like this candle here on that 6 hour. What does our 4 hour show us? Yeah, that was a nasty wick there too. So we're finding a little bit of support here. We definitely want to hold this area here. Let me get rid of this. Let me pull this higher. So this is clearly a trend line of support, 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 support. Look for it one more time, but how many times can we touch this? What else do we see here? Interesting. So we're definitely channel bound. Yeah, I'm seeing something like this. Yeah, I'm definitely seeing something like this. This is... yeah, this is symmetric. This is symmetric triangle. Barely. Maybe it's a rising wedge. Not wedge. Yeah. This one's tricky. This could go either way. This kind of looks bearish to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some sort of a... which could only work if we are able to hold support here. Our 4 hour, yeah, I got 2 hours left. I do like these wicks here. Okay, I do like these wicks. Be wary if this line breaks. If we break 4 hour, let me go to the daily, see what we can see here. Yeah, see, I don't want to break through. I like this to get tighter. Okay, let's tighter, form the apex here. Okay, wait for confirmation. If we break bullish, we can definitely get a lot higher. But a bear break would be really risky, because that would put this line as a major area of resistance. Let's see what our stochastics is looking better, which is good. Daily RSI is under 50. Remember, ooh, and we got rejected at 49. So I don't like that. Crawling higher here, but still under 50. I don't like that at all. Whew. All right, guys. I've done a lot of talking today. Let's do one last quick take here on Bitcoin, or 4 hour. Yep, so we're finding resistance here. on our channel support, downtrend resistance. Decent wick there, but definitely seeing the weakness coming in. What's our volume looking like here? Volume's trailing off. So is our sell volume. So that's encouraging. Let's take a look here. Market cap 209 billion. Bitcoin dominance 52.3 and falling. That's notable. Bitcoin 24-hour volume about 4 billion. Market cap 110 billion. Now keep an eye on this market cap here, okay? Don't break 100 billion. 100 billion has been support all of 2018, okay? If we break it, if you start seeing 99 billion here, look out, because then 100 billion, which was once major support, could actually be resistance here. Let's go to historical data, under 5 billion, under 5 billion. So we're kind of hovering in this 5 billion area. It's actually a little better. Remember, we were in the 3s and 4s for a lot of early August here. So our volume is getting a little better, although today's volume is definitely kind of a little weaker, but we still have a lot of time left in the day. So not much to glean here, only that our market cap is barely over $100 billion, and we do not want to see it fall. Whew. Okay. Oh, did I not do Ethereum? I didn't do Ethereum. All right, let me do Ethereum. We'll end it with that. So, nice bump here, but oh, come on. I wanted to hold $300, right? So, did you. This was an Elliott I was drawing. I liked that 5 because that did correspond with a 78.6 extension of our wave 3 here. So, I did like that completion, but we gave a lot of this back here. What are our indicators showing? RSI, that's not too bad. And we're still bullish on our MACD. Let's go to our daily. What's our daily RSI? Now, in our daily, guys, this is a great example. Ether bounces when we get super oversold. Look how low we were here at the end of March 17. We put in a slightly higher low there and a nice bounce there. So we're 2 for 2 whenever Ethereum's RSI daily gets down here. But as I always say, I want to be above 50. Not there yet. What's our weekly look like here? This is kind of scary. So we see how low we can get on our RSI on our weekly chart, and you actually see how high we are now, which means we can definitely go lower. We've been as low as 31, 32. We are at 35. If we got down to these areas here, or even 30, if we actually go really bearish like that, I'd be very encouraged in taking a long, because this will be a major area of support if we are able to get down here very bearishly on our RSI. On Ethereum, MACD is still very bearish, no change there, and as well our histogram. So definitely had a nice little pop. Our 250, remember this is our weekly chart here, okay? I want to see this more of a bottom hammer, okay? This is looking good so far, as long as we can hold this one more day. If we start giving a lot of this back, this will be looking less like a bottom hammer and more just like another bearish candle, similar to what we put in last week. Woo! All right, coming up on the hour mark here, been kind of ended for today. Guys, thank you so much for joining me live today. Please give me a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed our chat here today. Let's see some love. What, I only have like 6 likes here, guys. Come on, let's see those thumbs up. Remember, guys, I'm on Discord with a great group of guys, the Until 1 Mil Trading Room. Vamp is there. I got some other people. Great information, help you become a better trainer. Okay, check out the BigChonis package. Please DM me or send me an email if you have any questions. Guys, I'm on Twitter at BigChonis. Feel free to follow me there, and any questions about my mentoring as well, please feel free to send me a DM or an email. Guys, be safe out there, okay? This is a very strenuous time here. For Bitcoin, don't force any trades. If you are green and in profit in some trades, maybe to take some money off the table. Don't be greedy. If you're finding you are in a positive trade, take those profits. Take profits today. Live to trade another day. Remember, guys, Bitcoin is a heartbeat. All you need to do is trade the pulse. Talk to you soon.